If you've done a few real estate deals and wondering now if you should flip your next one or hold it long term, this video will help you decide. In order to understand which model is best for you, we need to first look at the value chain, before, during, and after. And ownership here is the key deciding factor, okay? We're gonna start with the before part. Here on this side of the whiteboard, I have flip and hold, the two things I mentioned in my intro, right? We are comparing these two different models. I'm not gonna go through every single activity in the value chain, but I have highlighted the key success factors from my perspective. If you're in the process of trying to find a property in the marketplace and you try to flip it as quickly as possible, the market understanding is completely different. This is more from the short-term perspective. But before going there, let's start with the fundamentals. What we need to understand is retail price versus wholesale price. Investors never pay retail. There's two ways when it comes to flips, how you can build equity, how you can force the appreciation to go higher. One is by paying less than the market value is, meaning that's the wholesale price, obviously. So you build equity that way. Assuming a property is worth 100, you are able to offer 70 to the homeowner and say that, okay, I'm gonna close in 7 days and make it as convenient and easy as possible for you. So therefore, the price is justified, or whatever the argument is. Another way how you can build equity is by understanding that the value of your repairs is actually higher than the cost of those same repairs. If you understand the best bang for your buck as far as the renovations go, you know that kitchens and bathrooms and maybe windows and roof are the ones that people are willing to pay for. So you invest your time and money in those, and you see your value go up a lot more than the cost of those repairs. Okay, so here, market understanding, obviously, if you want to get rid of that property, so to say, sell it very quickly, you need to understand the local economy dynamics and also the national economy, maybe. Interest rates, what's going to happen with the cycle of the economy, bust or boom, and so forth. So monitor the market closely. Make sure that you understand days of supply and demand. Those are the key success factors. But number one here is to make sure that we understand that we are in the business of finding opportunities with homeowners and with the agents. And finding those deals is the starting point. Okay, what about hold then? Somewhat similar, somewhat different. So finding deals as well. But here, yes, we pay wholesale pricings as well, not the retail, so that we can build equity. But here's the key difference between the two. I mentioned you have two ways to build equity here with flips. With holds, there are actually three ways. So same, you buy low, so that's how you build equity. Then you understand the value of repairs compared to the cost of those repairs. And the third one is that long-term, when you hold on to it, you can actually build equity when the market goes higher. And this is really important. And that's why market understanding is more from the long-term perspective, right? So look at your area's population growth, employment growth, interest rates overall, and demand and supply in the marketplace. Pay attention to housing starts so that you have the long-term picture in mind, so that you understand that is there going to be more supply down the road that I haven't understood, so that you can actually then understand that this is the long-term game with real estate. So there are three ways with these how you can build that equity and that market appreciation. If you're in the right area where people want to be, where there's more demand, this is your golden ticket there. Like I already mentioned, it's more from the long-term perspective. And then favorable financing is a super key success factor in the beginning, because here, and why is it that I didn't mention it with flips? I didn't mention it because it's actually easier to get money for short-term financing or short-term flips. There are private lenders, there are hard money lenders, and there's in some cases bank financing available as well. But here, in order to secure that low interest rate long-term loan, that's a lot harder. Nowadays, there are some hard money lenders who offer that, but the interest rates are a lot higher. And why is this important? Because you need to understand that this has such a big impact on your cash flow, so that your rents are higher than your expenses. Okay, what happens while you own the property? Two different scenarios again, flip and hold. Okay, obviously here when you're flipping something, the ownership period is really, really short. And if we look at the key success factors here, there are three: speed, quality, and cost. Briefly about every single one of them. Obviously, speed, you want to minimize your time, because let's say you're using somebody else's money, hard money lender or a private lender or whoever, even if it's your own pocket, own money out of your own pocket, there's always the opportunity cost that has to be taken into consideration. So you want to make sure that your 4-month project turns into 3 and not the other way around. Okay, and that's where project management skills. You need that general contractor, or maybe it's your own guys who actually do that. But project management is key. Absolutely, putting together a timeline, understanding what needs to be measured, putting the targets in place, and making sure that every day at the construction site, these principles are being followed. Then quality. There's nothing more disturbing and expensive than fixing those warranty issues after the fact. Maybe this is a used property, so there is no new property warranty in place, but still, if you sell something, I think you have your moral obligation to be responsible for the quality of your work. So you don't want people calling you back about plumbing issues and whatnot. So make sure that your guys are on time and they do good enough job, or actually I would say excellent job, to make sure that the quality is always there. That's given, quality is given. There's no way to deviate from that. And then cost. Cost overruns are typically, together with schedule delays, are the two biggest issues or reasons why people actually lose money on flips. So if you are able to put together your process in such a way, you have reliable employees and you measure their work and you have timelines, you have milestones in place, you should be able to nail these. If not, well, then you're in the wrong business. But if you need help, I'm always here. So you know that link down below and you can click on it and give me a call. We can talk about, I can audit yours if it's useful. Anyhow, so moving from flip to hold actually. So what about here? It's actually very, very different. So if you look at this being, let's say on average of 3 to 4 months, the hold period here, this could be years. This could be a 5 to 10 to 15 year property for you. So number one, if you, again, look at the cash flow. So that's the short-term money that you're making. You can't really bank on that appreciation because you never know what happens in the 1 or 2 or 3 year time frame. So you need to make sure that those properties that you hold on to, they cash flow. That's number one. That's why here, remember we talked about favorable financing in the beginning, so that you start the project right. Here, guess what? Financing and interest rates are again here. That's why we need to pay attention to them. But the most important thing is your tenant selection. My previous video was about the 3 steps that I take to select the best possible tenants, and knock on wood, I've never had issues in 20 years when it comes to people paying late or wrecking my property in any way. But I follow my process to the T. So document your process, use mine if useful, make sure that you have one that you can stick to no matter what, because this is how you avoid vacancies, and vacancies kill your cash flow. So selection and then tenant management, take care of those people. You want to make sure that they stay in your properties as long as possible. Okay, coming to the last part, which is after ownership. So here with the flip, obviously this is a short kind of a start and stop kind of a cycle. So your key priority is take the money that you made, hopefully, and find the next deal. Again, going back to the drawing board. We are in the business of finding opportunities. How do we do that? We talk to those people who control the inventory. That's agents and homeowners, right? And then understanding that your one-time income that you made could be taxed heavily, depending on your corporate structure or if it's under your personal name. So this particular business, or part of the business, so to say, could be turned into a scalable passive income type business if you are able to hire people, build processes, and turn it into a long-term kind of money-making real company, so to say. But it's not easy. So many people I see, they are heavily dependent on the same contractors. They do all the work themselves. And this is kind of like, well, like I said in the beginning, like one of those start and stop type of cycles. So this could easily just end up being a very high-paying job for you. Whereas here, I'm not saying that hold is a better option necessarily, but there are a couple of benefits that I'm personally leaning towards. So if we look at this as well, so cash flow and equity were the things that we were able to build basically along the way. So let's say we decide to, we are coming to the end of ownership here, or even let's say we are even deciding to hold on to the property. But the real beauty is here is the refinance and repeat cycle. So what this means is that let's say you bought something 7 years ago. So you understood the 3 ways how you can force the appreciation to go higher, right? So you paid wholesale, not retail. Then you made the right repairs, so the value of those was higher than the cost. And then last but not least, you saw the market go up. So what happened was that, let's say that property was worth $250 when you had remodeled it, okay? There was an appraiser or somebody gave you the valuation. And then over the last 7 years, now the value of that property is $320. So you built $70K of additional equity on top of the equity that you already built. What can you do with that? Here's the beauty. So you go and refinance. That $70K extra equity you have, you can pull money against that. So that's used as collateral against the next deal. And then guess what? Then that money is used again as your down payment when you acquire the next property. So this is how you repeat and recycle, so to say. So you refinance and repeat, and then you go again back to the drawing board and finding new deals. That's really the beauty here. But again, there is no way saying that this is better than that. Actually, my solution personally is that I mix them both. I do both. Many people start by doing a lot of flips so that they can build their cash buffers up so that they can actually do more hold deals going forward. Here's my way of doing it. The strategically located properties. Those, again, going back to here, market understanding long-term, population growth, employment growth. Where do people want to be? In those areas where you can turn the manufacturing engine on and make more land. There's always demand if people want to live there, but there is no more supply. So at least you can bank on that inflation level appreciation and maybe even higher, as the history has shown. So my strategy personally is that I want to be in those areas as a long-term buy and hold type investor. And then short-term, I'm looking at these opportunities selectively. So I'm flipping. I could buy land, I could buy apartment buildings, a fourplexes or whatever I buy. But if I don't want to hold on to it, let's say it's outside the city a little bit, it could be short-term a favorable area, but I don't believe in it for whatever reason, then I make short-term cash here so that I can put it here. And then I use heavily this refinance and repeat cycle. So you pull equity out of the deal and you move on to the next one. And that's how you can scale, and that's how you can build that cash flowing portfolio of properties that makes you wealthy long-term. Not just having money, not just having cash, but wealth is the key thing. Flipping will make you money, holding will create wealth. And both models can be turned into scalable businesses if you know what you're doing and if you have the right people and processes in place. If you're already doing real estate deals right now, but you're stuck, you can't grow, maybe it's not your long-term strategy that's wrong. Maybe it's your business model. I still offer that free one-on-one strategy session where I will help you figure out how to scale your business without burning out. We will go through your risk profile, your market dynamics, and what your lifestyle goals really mean in practice. So click the link below and book that free call with me.